Okay, today I'd like to talk about the qualities of a linebacker. I'm going to talk about 30 qualities that I like to look for in a linebacker when I'm recruiting him, when I'm coaching him. These are the qualities that they don't require physical skills. I'm not talking about speed and strength and change of direction and that kind of thing. I'm talking about stuff from inside of here, and just inner passion and so on and so forth. And these are the things that separate the good from the great, in my humble opinion. So let's start right out with number one is play with passion. I want my players to play with a lot of passion. I want them to be passionate about the game, about practice, about everything there is to do with football. Their team, they need to be passionate about their team and the concept of team. Number two is play with reckless abandon. A linebacker needs to throw himself around the football field, fly around the field, make things happen. And he can't be cautious and think about his own whether I might get banged up a little bit here or there. You just got to play hard. You got to play with reckless abandon. Three is great effort all the time. I want those linebackers. That's one thing that they need to be known for. They've got motors. They go all the time. They never stop. They're relentless. They give great effort. Those three things take no talent at all. It doesn't take any talent to play hard, to play with passion, to have a great motor, to give good effort. Four is toughest players on the team. We just need to be the toughest players on the team. We're asked to take on linemen, 300-pound linemen, be physical with a 300-pound lineman, and cover a gazelle. Cover a receiver that runs like a gazelle. Tackle a running back that's 220-pound, just a bull. So you got to be tough. You got to be one of the tougher players on the team. Five is the most physical players on the team. Like I say, you've got to be physical. You've got to be able to take on a 300-pound lineman, hit, separate, get off the block. That's not easy. So you need to be physical. You need to be strong. Those kind of things. But physical, and like the physical aspect of football, you need to like to hit. That's number six. You need to love to hit. I want players that if you ask them, what's your favorite thing about football? I like hitting. And that's kind of boring. There's little kids that hit in Little League. Those are the ones that grow up and hit in high school and in college. So I want hitters. I want number seven is a burning desire to get to the ball. That's just a trademark in a linebacker. A good linebacker should be able to go out and make 7 tackles on his own just because he has a burning desire to get to the ball. If I don't screw him up coaching-wise, he should be able to walk out there and make 6, 7 tackles. So burning desire to get to the ball, like your life depends on it. Number 8 is leaders. I want leaders. Linebackers need to be leaders. They kind of run the defense. They make a lot of adjustments, and when what hits the fan, it's got to be the linebackers that pull us out. It's got to be the linebackers that everybody follows. The linebacker needs to, hey fellas, follow me. It's going to be okay. We're going to get up here. Just follow me up the hill. 9, I want people who think positive. You've always got 2 choices in life. Whenever you're going into anything, maybe it's a test, maybe it's a chemistry test, a math test, English test, whatever, and you're going, I don't know if I'm going to do very good on it, or I'm going to do really good on it. I've prepared and I'm ready to go. So why choose the negative? I want people that look at the positive. I always want positive thinking. We never want to bring negative into the equation at all. I want people that think positive about practice, about the upcoming game, about off-season, about recruiting. Everything needs to be positive. There's enough out there in the world that's going to try and bring the negative on you. We don't need to bring it on ourselves. 10 is a burning desire to win. I want players who want to win, who hate to lose. I can't abide by players that lose and laugh or just write it off as well. We've got another one next week. It needs to hurt. It needs to hurt to lose, and it needs to be thrilling to win, and I want people who want to win. That's the name of the game. No matter what anybody says, this thing's about winning. We play the game, we keep score because it's a winning game. You want to win. I want a player at number 11 that works on his weaknesses. An old coach of mine, old high school coach, used to tell me, make your weaknesses your strengths. We all have strengths, we all have weaknesses. If you work on your weaknesses and bring them up here a couple notches, then you're a dangerous man on the football field. Number 12, hustles all the time. Hustle all the time. Run in between drills. I want guys that run in between drills. I want guys that hustle. Even if it's during stretch, man, I want people that go. Number 13, determined to dominate his opponent. Football is a series of one-on-ones. The three technique is going to be going against the guard. The end is going to be going against the tackle. Corner is going to be covering a receiver. We're linebackers. We have one-on-ones with the guards, or we've got a one-on-one with a running back, or we've got a one-on-one covering a receiver. So you need to dominate those guys. You need to go into the game feeling you're going to dominate that guy. I want people who are determined to do that. 14, number 14 is never think about how tired you are. With these fast-paced offenses, they're going to try and wear you out, and a lot of that is psychological. They're just as tired as you are. It takes just as much energy to perform an offensive play as a defensive play. So always remember, don't think about how tired you are, think about how tired he is. And no matter how tired you are, he's going to be just as tired, maybe a little more tired than you. So outlast him. Outlast him. 15, always pursue. Always pursue. Some of these are a little bit redundant, they're a little bit repetitive, and that means if I have it in there 3 or 4 times, that's even more important. So when I'm going over this with the linebackers, they've heard great effort, they've heard always pursue, they've heard hustle. So that's a pretty big one with me. Always pursue. Always be moving towards the ball. Always be moving towards your target. 16, I really like. It's a saying we have. You're up before you hit the ground. If somebody cuts you, blocks you, you're up before you hit the ground. If you stumble and fall, you're up before you hit the ground. We don't take a lot of time getting up. We don't throw a pity party on the ground. We bounce up almost in stride. We are moving. We are up before we hit the ground. 17, burning desire to play football. Everybody loves to play the games. I want somebody who loves practice. I just want somebody who loves getting in the pads, going out there and playing football. I want somebody who approaches practice and say, I'm lucky to get to practice because I'm playing football today. You know, I always tell the guys, hey, you could be digging coal in Russia. You could be digging coal in Russia right now, but you're not. You're playing football. You're playing football today. We're not practicing. We're playing. We're playing today. So I want a person with burning desire to play football. Number 18, a desire to train. Like I say, you're a linebacker. You're going to have to take on 300-pound large men. You're going to have to tackle guys that are very explosive. You're going to have to cover guys that run like deer. So you have to train. You have to train your body. I always say you got to make yourself bulletproof. Your shoulders, your knees, you got to be very strong, very sturdy, and you need to like to train. I want people who want to push themselves, see how far they can go. See how far, what limits your body can go to and then break. Number 19 is aggressive. You've got to be aggressive in this game. At linebacker, you've got to be aggressive. If you're timid, if you're a little apprehensive, no can do. You've got to see that hole open and explode through it. You've got to see that guard coming at you and attack that shoulder. There's just no room for anything less than being aggressive. Number 20 is a hitter. Number 6 was love to hit. Number 20 is a hitter. We need hitters. We need hitters. We not only need tacklers, you need hitters at linebacker. People that are going to intimidate folks. You know, it needs to be a little bit apprehensive to run through our defense when you're running the ball. We need hitters. 21, somebody that works for perfection. There's not many places in a young man's life where perfection is demanded. Probably not in the classroom. It's not expected. It is encouraged, but it's not expected. At their part-time job, it's probably encouraged, but it's not expected. Here, it's expected. We work for perfection. We want 2 hours in that young man's life, for 2 hours a day, I want him to strive for perfection. And we're not going to settle for anything less. We won't hit it all the time, of course. But we're going to strive for it all the time, every day. We want it perfect. You can't do anything less than perfect. You can't strive for anything less than perfect, okay? 22 is promote unity. Always. Always. We are a team. We're a team. If the offense fumbles on the 5-yard line, I want some linebacker to be saying, hey, boys, we got them right where we want them. Short field. They can't throw it deep. It's just another chance to get out there and play, no matter what the situation is. If they're off the field, if they're in the campus cafeteria and somebody's talking smack about the OLs, I want a linebacker to walk up there and say, get off our OLs. Our OLs are good. They're coming along. They're going to be a great unit. That's my boy. Don't talk about my football team like that. Unity, on and off the field, always. 23 is very important. When a coach talks or demonstrates, you pay attention. You pay attention. If I'm correcting a 1, the number 1, the first string linebacker, and the 2 and the 3 don't listen, I'm not correcting the 2 and 3. If the 2 comes out and makes the same mistake as the 1 did, I'm not going over that. If I correct one of us, I'm correcting all of us. So if you're a number 2 or 3, and I'm talking to the one about dropping to the curl flat, you better be paying attention. Okay, you need to be paying attention. 24, run in between drills. It's a little tiny thing. It's a little tiny piece of discipline. We don't walk in between drills. We don't walk on the field. We run from drill to drill, and that little bit of discipline pays off in game number 7 in the 4th quarter or in overtime when you're dog tired and he's dog tired, but you're used to running when you're tired. You're used to discipline when you're tired. Run in between drills. 25, be a winner. Be a winner. I've talked about that. People that want to win and hate to lose. I want winners. I want guys that come from winning programs. I want guys that play for winning coaches. I like recruiting state champions. I like recruiting guys that like to compete, that hate to lose. Even if it's in the off-season tug of war. Even if it's a weight, the great ones that I've always coached, if they clean 350 pounds, somebody came in and cleaned 360, they'd drive back into that weight room, do 370. That's the kind of guy I want playing linebacker. A winner. Somebody that never gives up. Don't ever give up. Doesn't matter what the scoreboard says. You can be up by 30, down by 30. You play the same way. Relentless. Relentless with a great motor. Old, wise coach told me one time, sometimes you find your winners when you're down by 30. Old basketball coach told me that, and he's right. He's right. Next time you're down, next time you're having a disastrous game, watch who plays hard. Watch who's still playing. Watch who's still making plays. Those are your winners. Check their name off. Those are the guys you want to build this thing around. We want winners that never give up. 27 is be coachable. That's a real skill. 27 is be coachable. 28 is take correction well. And that's tricky nowadays because young men sometimes don't understand the difference between getting yelled at, getting disciplined, and getting coached. Because a lot of coaches coach hard and they use a big coaching voice, and I have to present it in the right way. To me, coaching is teaching. That's my classroom out there. It's just like teaching math or chemistry. And if you were in a chemistry classroom or a math classroom and they got an equation wrong, you wouldn't scream at them, call them an idiot, cuss them, and tell them they got it wrong. You would correct them. You would show them the right way to do the equation. It's the same thing on the football field. I don't always need to scream and break that person down. So I try not to do that. But by the same token, he needs to be coachable. He doesn't need to be on the defensive. He doesn't need to just explain why he did it unless I ask him. He needs to take the correction and make it on the next play to do it right. And there's nothing better than seeing that. Seeing a player take what you've taught him, make the correction, and do it right the next rep. That's awesome. That's getting better. Work in meeting and film sessions. That's a must. It's a must in college football. You got to bring something to write with and write on. You've got to take notes in every film session. And if I have to remind you about that, you're not ready for college football. You've got to work in the film sessions. You've got to study your opponent. You've got to know who you're up against. You know, there's a book called The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And know yourself and know your enemy, and you'll win all your battles. If you just know yourself, you'll win half. If you just know your enemy, you'll win half. But if you know them both, you'll win all of them. So knowing your opponent is very important. You need to know their strengths, their weaknesses, what they're good at, what they're not. Couple that with what you're good at and make your game plan, but you got to do film study. Tendencies, things of that nature, very, very important. You have to work in the film session and in the meetings. Number 30, do all these things, 1 through 29. Do all these things at all times, but especially at those times when the tide is against you. That's when we really need it. Everybody hustles when you're winning. Everybody's feeling good. Everybody's team unity when you're winning. It's when you're down. When you're down by 14 in the 4th and you need somebody to lead you, that's when you need to do these things. That's when this training needs to show up. So you practice these things all the time and really make them show up when the tide is going against you. These are some of the things that I look for in a linebacker, and they're hard to find. You know, you watch film and you can see if a guy can run and tackle and change direction and cover. But these things, you got to dig a little deeper. You've got to get to know the young man. You've got to get to know his coach. And I'll tell you what, though, if you can hit on several of these 30 qualities, you got yourself a winner. If he's got some physical talent and he's got a lot of these, boy, you've got yourself a special player. So I hope there's some special players out there for you, and I hope this helped talk a little bit about what Wildcat linebackers are all about.